Nonsense in the chaos. Wicked witches. Trusting the unknown. Welcome to the Nonsense in the Chaos. I'm your host, Jolie Rose. I'm standing in the almost empty house that my partner, Dizzle, my husband, and I have lived in for the last 4 years. And it's where I've held all my moon ceremonies, and just so many amazing things have happened in this house. We've loved living here. It's absolutely imbibed with magic. It's a really beautiful, oldie, worldy looking cottage, really cosy, quite dark. It is a really good winter home because it's got a huge stone fireplace, and it's brilliant for the ceremonies because I just have been sitting in front of the fireplace with this altar, and it's been really intimate. There's only a living room and a bedroom, both really big, and then a hall and a kitchen and a toilet, but it's one space really. You can lie in bed and chat to someone in the living room. And so it's meant that Diz and I have always been really close and connected to each other, and it feels, it's really intimate. And in the winter, when it's quiet and the island's not crazy, we spend all winter just like having a lovely time together here. And it is very dark because it's north facing, but in the summer it does have a veranda, which is where I use my office, and it's undercover, and that's great because it's meant people haven't smoked inside. We've always been able to go out on the veranda and smoke even if the weather's bad. So it's been ideal. It's been such a lovely house, and we've really, really loved living here. We've got a gorgeous garden. We're actually in someone's garden. So our landlords are an awesome couple who are very wealthy. They're not here that often. They're only over in the summer, and they live in the big house opposite, which I used to live in the annex of when I first moved over here. And then noticed, I always thought this cottage was derelict because it has a stream running down the back of it. So I just assumed it must be really damp, and no one was living there. So I just thought it was derelict. And then one day someone stayed here, a nanny who was working for one of their workers, stayed here like for a couple of weeks. So she was doing some nannying for them. And so then we realised that people could stay here, and then we got asked to come and switch the heating off after she'd left because she'd forgotten to switch it off, and we came in to have a nose, and where we were was like single glazing, and the wind was howling through the building, and it was a really big and rickety building. And then we came in here and it was double glazing and airtight, and we were just like, can we move in there please? And we were allowed to move in. It's local market, so we were able to move in because of Dizzle being local market. And we moved in and just had the most cute, gorgeous home. It was real witchy aesthetic. It really suited being cluttered, which has ended up working out well because when we were moving into this new house, which is 4-bedroom and huge, I thought that we weren't going to have enough stuff, but actually we had enough stuff. We filled the house already. It's like, our bedroom's much smaller, and so actually our stuff doesn't really fit in the bedroom. And we're just going to have to wiggle things around a bit and work out where we're going to put things. But it's weird. It's like there's loads more room, but not so much room in other ways. It's kind of, different layout. Our bedroom is much bigger here. It just feels weird to be saying goodbye to this life because it's been a lovely one. We got married and came back here. This was where we, courted and then married and honeymooned, and loved living here. I've written my book. I've written 2 books here really, and it feels like it's the end of an era. We just took the cats over. They didn't like it. That was quite hectic, but we managed it. It actually went smoother than I thought it was going to. So we've moved the cats, and it's just that horrible last day. It's the last day of the month today. We're not in a rush. They're not coming. No one's moving in after us, so we are able to come back and clean and things like that. But it's that, like, oh God, it's just all bits. Do you know what I mean? Like, what do we do with this bit? And everything's really dirty. So, yes. And then, my God, the valley. The house that we're moving into is just so incredible. It is. So it's not so much the house is great. It's not. I wouldn't have designed the house to look the way that it looks. It's a big rectangular block, and when you're out on the patio, we're raised, and we've got, like, people can see us 180 degrees. Like, tourists in the summer can see us not quite 180 degrees, because on the right hand side is our neighbour's house. She used to be a guest house. She's not now, and she's very elderly, and she's there on her own. So actually that side's private, just because she's not really out and about and no one else is there as well. But on the other side of us is the seigneury, where there's going to be tourists all year round walking around the gardens just right next to us. And then across the stream at the end of our garden is the Monterey Hotel, and that's the route to get down to Port-de-Moulin Beach, which is what we're in the valley of. So yeah, there's a lot of tourists, a lot of people are going to be around us at all times. And we're just up on the stage, we're so visible. It's quite weird. So it feels like the cottage that we're in now, that we're leaving behind, is so intimate. We're surrounded by bushes, like huge hydrangea bushes. So it feels like we're in the trees in a little Ewok house. And it's so private. Even when I'm on the veranda, people can't see me. So we've gone from, like, complete privacy to absolutely in the view. So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. So I am in our new house, and I'm here on my own. It's Wednesday and I'm moving stuff around. Our garden is a bit boggy, so I feel like an actual bog witch, with a stream at the end of the garden and a boggy bit down the end there full of bamboo. I'm going to start growing some willow down there. And looking up the hill to my left, I can see the spire roof of the apple orchard area, where it's like a turret and then a wall and a bunch of turrets and this sort of round area, which is where Diz and I got married at the seigneury. And I can see exactly, like, literally we are sat completely in the view of the Wicker Man burning, but from the back. So the festival goers all sit on the banks of, there's like 3 series of steps going down with a little kind of platform area at each level, and we're at the bottom of those steps. That's literally our garden. And so looking up through this kind of yoni shape between the trees, I can see the levels of steps, and then the level where the Wicker Man will be in 4 weeks' time. My God. Oh my God, I can't believe putting on a festival in 4 weeks. We've just moved house. It's insane. I'm absolutely shattered. I'm so burnt out already. And then, yeah, so to the left, through the yoni shape in the trees, is the Wicker Man and the seigneury where me and Diz got married. And then below the slope in the seigneury gardens, we have this lovely weeping willow and a bridge. Looks very kind of like those Chinese plates that people often have in their houses. And then we've got a shed that we're going to turn into a fermenting shed and make and brew and ferment things, which would be great. And then an area I think we're going to turn into a fire pit next to the shed, and then the stream, and then some fruit trees which we need to plant: damson, plum and apricot. And then we've got a what are they called, wisteria, which we're going to grow up and over the house. Yeah, to my left is the seigneury gardens. In front of me is the stream, and then there's the other side of this valley, which is a beach. So it's the access to a beach, and it's where the window in the rock is, which is quite a well-known tourist spot, and it's my favourite beach by far. And there's a beautiful rocky outcrop called Tintagel. It's called something else, but it's the same root name. It almost is Tintagel. It's called Tintagio or something like that. But it's the same meaning, which means like some sort of sacred rocky outcrop. And that's where Dizzle proposed to me, and where we sit and watch the sunset. And it feels like the most magical place on the island. It's a sheer drop like the whole height of the island. It's like as high as you can get basically, and then just a sheer drop down the side. But it feels so safe and sacred, and yeah, it's such a magical spot, really secluded. It's literally my favourite place on the island, and it's just maybe 5 minutes from my house. I'd say 2 minutes, but it's a little bit of a mission to get down that valley and back up again, but it's right there. And if you were to cross the stream at the end of our garden, you go up the slope and you get to the monastery, which is the old monastery, and then if you cross the stream and turn right, you follow the stream along and you come to the nook, which is where we have parties and celebrate. And it's by the nook that the mill used to be. The nook is actually an old quarry where they blasted the rocks out around the same time that they blasted the hole for the window in the rock, which is a folly, and all the rock was used to make the tower in the seigneury, which is to my left. The seigneury is the seigneur's the lord of the manor. So the seigneury is the lord of the manor's house. It's kind of like the island's castle, like head manor house. And so our neighbour is the lord of the manor, the seigneur. He doesn't own our land. Our land's owned by the Raymonds, who live the other side of the track behind our house. So kind of further up the valley, like up the other side of the slope. We're right in the valley. We're in it. We're right next to the stream. But our house is elevated. So on this patio where I'm sat, it just feels like we're on a stage in the middle of a forest. I don't know about you, but if you're going to live in the middle of a forest, I feel like it would be nicer to be a bit more like ducked down and like secluded, whereas we're in the middle of a forest and we are absolutely on full view and we can't see anything outside of our, like, so obviously when you've got the lights on the patio, we're out here drinking or whatever of an evening, so we are just surrounded by very deep darkness. Like, it's, what would you say, 30 metres to the other side of the valley. So from where I'm sat, I'd say it's about 30 metres to the other side of the valley, crossing over a stream. The Seigneury Gardens is about 30 metres to my left. And that goes on, I mean, I don't know how far that would be. What would you say that is? Maybe it's 130, like, so it goes on about 100 metres beyond the gate. The gate has a little girl ghost that watches through the gate. There's even a photo of her. I always just wave at her now. I just gave her a little wave now. There's a girl that watches through the gate. There are monk ghosts knocking around from the monastery. There's all sorts of weird stuff from the monastery, stories that well, I got told when I moved over here that the monks, there was one of the cases of witches over here was these witches that were attacking the monastery, accusing the monks of stealing their babies. And when I heard this story, I was like, what? So some women's babies had gone missing. They were accusing the monks, but somehow history's remembered them as being witches. They probably were the mothers of the children that had gone missing. And, because that was it. It was these women were accusing the men of stealing babies and were called witches. So it wasn't saying that they were the mothers, but I was like, probably they were the mothers. And when I said that to the person, they were like, oh yeah, actually, there was some archaeological digs in Guernsey lately where they found some baby remains in the grounds of the monastery. I was like, yeah. So, right, okay. So that's like, I can see the roofs and the buildings through the trees up the hill, like opposite me. So there's this old monastery that may or may not have been stealing women's babies, and women who were accused of witchcraft from there. And then over by the duck pond where the weeping willow and the bridge are to my left, there's the monk's well, which is the oldest well on the island. And then, yeah, this ancient valley that's Port de Moulin, because further down the valley by the Nook, they had the water mill. So it was the valley with the mill in it. So, and then there was a port. It was one of the beaches that would have been used as a port. So it was the port with the mill, Port de Moulin. And it is an exceptionally beautiful valley, and it's on the west. So sunset, absolutely stunning. But I just feel like the strongest energy line of this island runs through this valley. So it's the first time I've lived on an energy line. I've been pulled here by energy lines. So this feels like an act of geomancy. It's not geomancy. I'm about to commence. It has commenced. My geomancy, because what do I mean by it? So geomancy is land magic, but it's a collaboration between you and the land. That's what it means to me. So I think there are other people that might do things in a more manipulative way, or, you know, everyone's different. But my relationship to geomancy is when I realised that if you allow the land to proactively participate in the storytelling and narrative of whatever it is you're doing, then it joins in, and magical miracles happen. And it began with me doing the sisterhood tour, and that leading to, you know, thunder and lightning at just the right moment, and then like the full moon coming out and the clouds parting at just the right moment, and then a rainbow over the venue, and then sunshine for the rest of the time. And it just felt like we'd done this healing, and the land and the atmosphere of East Anglia felt lighter from us doing that tour and doing those healing ceremonies and doing that work of clearing the, you know, the trauma of the witch wound, basically, the witch trials, Matthew Hopkins, Witchfinder General. And that was when I realised that nature plays a role in the story if you let her, and will just add to the magic, like, completely. And then walking the pilgrimages, and just every time without fail, she gets involved, you know, and incredible, just like, I mean, even the last pilgrimage we walked, there were rainbows constantly, and it was a pilgrimage for peace, you know, and there was the rainbow, it was constant, it was just the rainbows everywhere, and that it felt like nature was just pushing us along, because it was actually quite a difficult pilgrimage in many ways. The group dynamics were really difficult. We were all having really quite full-on physical ailments. It's much harder work holding the energy of what you're doing when there's just four of you, and also what we were doing was really hard, like walking for peace whilst Greta Thunberg was, you know, being attacked by drones, and there was the George's Cross going up everywhere, and it just felt like World War III was about to begin, which it sadly sort of, you know, has. And we were just really holding a lot between few of us, and it took its toll, emotionally and physically, and just in the dynamics of us, how we connected with each other. It was a lot. It was really hard work. It would have been so much easier if there'd been the other 2 or 3 people that were meant to be walking with us, that circumstances led to them not being able to come. But even so, it felt like everything still happened as it was meant to, and that's part of, like, my faith, is to trust the process and to trust that everything is unfolding as it should. And living here and being in this valley feels like it's part of the geomancy unfolding, because the first pilgrimage I walked on my own led to me coming to Sark, and then I met Dizzle. And then the second pilgrimage, where I walked to Cop, which was, you know, really tough. Like, the first one was really tough because my ex-husband split up with me. The second one was really tough because it ended up being up to 30 people up the country, walking to Cop, again holding climate change. You know, that was hard for us to be walking and thinking about the climate collapse the whole way for, you know, 3 months, and then to be at Cop, and it was a lot. It was really hard to hold all of that. And then come back from that, and me and Diz, like, got engaged, and it's like, right, we're getting married. And yeah, it really galvanised our relationship. It went from a sort of nice thing that was happening to, yeah, no, we're seriously in love. And he proposed to me, and then we were like, right, we're getting married. And then we got married on the third pilgrimage. The fourth one, I don't remember. I will have to go back and have a look, because I'm sure something happened. but it felt like the fourth one was a bit more chilled anyway. But then I had a break, and then this one was the fifth, and it was really hard, and this one's led to this house. And so it feels like we keep being pulled to, so Diz proposed to me on Tintagel in this valley. We then got married at the Seigneury in this valley, and now we're in a house for the rest of our lives in this valley. I mean, some things might change, we might end up moving, but we have a 53-year lease, and that'll probably see us through. So we're in this valley and it just feels like everything that's happened with the pilgrimages and with the connection that I've developed with the land, the relationship I've developed with Mother Earth, with the elementals, the energy lines, the dragon that is nature, that is, it's quite hard to even put into words, but the life force that is all around us, she has pulled me here, and she's pulled Dizzle here. Dizzle's going to be living here for like most of his life. He's only 25. So like, imagine when he's been here 53 years, it's going to be mad. Like, he's going to be such a forest dweller. I sat and looked out the window today while I was eating my breakfast, and I just thought, wow, I'm going to be looking at this view every day for the rest of my life. And to watch I was watching a wren flitting between the bamboo, and just watching it land up into the trees, and it's extraordinary. But I feel okay. Like, I absolutely saged the fuck out the whole place. I went around the whole perimeter and went around every room, every window, every door, cleared the space, and then also did a circle here when we did the Ostara weekend. My God. Right, I'll tell you more about the Ostara weekend after a break. If you enjoy this podcast, then please consider supporting me on Patreon, which is patreon.com/Jolie Rose. I absolutely love making this podcast. It's a real joy, even at times like this where I literally have just moved house and I am talking to you currently in a kitchen surrounded by stuff, and I'm trying to unpack and get my life in order. I still want to put out a podcast. I don't want to let you down. I want to share my stories and journey with you. I want to share all the incredible people I know with you, and I want to be able to do it in a way that has integrity and is real and isn't beholden to advertisers or whatever. I don't want to be chasing some horrible commercial thing. I want to be free, and just also as an artist, I love showing appreciation to people that do something that I get a lot from. So all of the podcasts that I listen to every week, I give them a donation. It was the first time I'd come and spent time in the valley, having known that we were moving here. And because it so felt like we'd been pulled here by the universe, by the land, by the energy line, it felt like turning up at school and seeing the person you fancy for the first time, having heard that they fancy you too, and what an exceptional feeling that is. You just feel so like and that's what it felt like, and it was amazing. It was amazing to be in the valley with all the girls that had come to the Ostara weekend, and it just was absolutely sparkling with magic. Like, everything was oozing magic. We went skinny dipping, it was sunny, it was glorious. We collected stones and drew labyrinths on them. We collected stones for drawing runes on. We made spirit lines with our runes through the valley, and this is the valley I've always done that on, where I've made spirit lines with runes as pilgrimage routes for me to like contemplate and connect. Also, I think I mentioned this already, but the beacon tree that Gordon Field located or found when he was here for mine and Diz's wedding, toppled over sadly in the last storms, or the storms this winter, but it's still alive. And it feels like I've been pulled here just as that's happened, and for me to like be giving love to the tree and sending healing energy to the tree and kind of willing it to carry on going, and then for me to be in this valley kind of supporting the energy and the flow of the energy just feels so powerful. And to have been here with the girls and for us to have created these spirit lines, and then they came into the garden and we all stood in a circle and held hands and sent healing positive energy out. And there's a woman who's with us who sees elementals, and she was really connecting with the elementals as we walked. They were all around us, and we're just in a forest. But in Spirited Away, there's those like tree dudes with the heads that spin round and rattle. It is full, like literally, I'm just standing here at the moment on this platform on a stage in the middle of a forest, being watched by a trillion of those little dudes. That's what it feels like. And then the spirit of the forest is, at night wandering up and down the stream. Like, that's what it feels like. So it's really amazing to be here. So I'm going to move my dressing table upstairs, locate my rooms in my writing room, my own studio, which will become my toggling studio. And once I've done that, I'll pull her in and see what the universe wants me to talk about. So I'm sat now at my writing desk in my studio. I'm so excited. I'm going to be able to get the actual recording studio set up so that it's better sound quality, which is something I really want to do. So I'm going to get some, at the moment it's going to be a bit echoey because it's literally just, there's not even curtains in here, but there's a corner that I can put some soundproofing panels up on and can literally get the whole set up for the podcast. So I don't need to keep, like, where it's been so far is it's been on my writing desk that I put it, and I'll have to remove it each time, and I just like pulled it in and out. It was like a microphone on an arm and I just pushed it out the way. But I'm going to be able to have like a proper setup for the podcast with soundproofing tiles, and it's amazing. But my writing desk, where I'm going to sit and write my books from now on, is looking out over the valley, looking at the sea. Like, I can't really see the sea, but I can see that there's no more land. I can see through the trees and see the distance, and like I nearly can see the sea. There's actually a reef in the way. If that reef wasn't there, I could see the sea, but my next door neighbour's reef is just in the way. But it's okay, I know that it's there, and it's exactly where the sun sets, and so I'll be watching the sunset. And I'm surrounded by trees, so I've got birds all around me. I mean, it's just incredible. And then to my left is the valley, and looking through the big windows over there is the valley. So I'm going to be having an amazing time in this studio space. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull a rune and see what the universe wants me to talk about. Oh, that's one. Shining a light into the darkness. So this is the torch. This is Kenaz. It feels very much like... sorry, that's just you falling over. It feels like we're shining a torch into the darkness. When I say about us being on this platform in the dark, and what were the monks up to here? We're not going to find that out, but energetically, something needs doing here. And the way I've been describing it to people is I've said that I feel like the hair of the island is this valley, and maybe the brain and the head, actually, interestingly, I don't know, it's a bit hard to just make it out as a physical shape, as a person. I'm actually going to take my necklace off and have a look at it, because it feels almost like this is the head. So then the crown chakra is the Tintagel, really, would be the crown chakra. And then the third eye is the window in the rock. I don't know if that really works, but it's more like the crown chakra would be Tintagel. The third eye would be the Seigneury. But it feels like, I'm actually looking at the shape of Sark now. But so I wear a silver necklace that I wear all the time around my neck. I've just taken it off to look at it. Yeah, it's funny because I suppose you could... I mean, I've seen it before with a witch on a broomstick with her skirts flying, and the little Sark is the broomstick. But with that, her hat would be Interesting. It could be the hair. Her hat would be the apothecary, and which is up north, kind of near where we've just been living. I love living up north. I'm going to really miss living up north. And then her body is on the walking stick, and so yeah, you could say that this bit at the back is her hair, and it feels like it's hair that's matted and full of fleas and bugs and ticks and nasty things and lice and dirt and grime, and it needs combing through. And the energetically, my husband and I, from now on, that will be our role, is to energetically comb through the hair of the island, and that we'll be doing that here in Sark from this valley, combing through the hair of the island. And that feels everything feels completely unknown. I don't know why we've been pulled here. I don't know what work we're going to create here. I don't know why this has all happened. It's April Fool's today, and my best mate Matt died on April Fool's. The first year I was here, so I think probably 5 years ago today. Yeah, that was mad. It was ironic and very Matt for his poor wife Heather to have to text everyone and say Matt's died, and it's not a joke. And actually there's a photo of Matt at his 30th birthday camping party with all the crew, and we're all there in front of the caravan that him and his wife were staying in, and we were all camping, and we had such a fun holiday. It was awesome, and his kids were babies, and everyone had just had babies, and we were all hanging out camping, and it was lovely. We had so much fun. And yeah, there's Matt in the middle doing the Spock hands, and he was such a funny man, and he died on April Fool's 4 or 5 years ago. 5 years ago, and I walked through this valley. You know, this is one of those places that you just automatically come to for healing, and yeah, it just feels like everything's kind of tying together and pulling together, but it's this complete unknown, and like passing to the other side, and what's going on and what it's all about, because it is reality's unraveling and being so odd, and turning into steam. So how to be a space for support and solidness, and it's not like advice, because I wouldn't even know what to advise right now. Like, the only advice I can give is to keep embracing the unknown, which is what this rune represents. I always describe it as the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where he's going through any of the, or temple, whichever one it was, with Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, like going through the temples with the torch in his hand, and you know, going into the darkness, and there's creepy crawlies everywhere, and everything seems scary and is scary, but he's brave and just does it anyway, and like, it was worth it in the end. He gets the gold, he gets the girl, he gets to understand what the thing was, he gets to learn the secrets, and comes out on top. And I feel like that's where I'm at with stuff. I'm in this weird, interesting situation where we're on this platform in the darkness, on a stage of light in the darkness, surrounded by a lot of energy, and this mad space, and trying to like figure it out. And I think in terms of the collective, I feel like we're sort of in a similar situation where we're all like, we don't know what's going on anymore. The reality we were sold, which seemed like a nice idea of, you get married, you have kids, you get a job, you work hard, you get a pension, you retire. It's all fallen by the wayside and has become meaningless. And so what are we doing? Like, why are we here? We're all standing in the darkness with our torches trying to figure it out. And we've got to be brave, and we've got to be adventurous. And yeah, my only advice is to keep embracing the unknown, and keep embracing the chaos, and to get your torch and to go into it, and just fully live it, because, and to trust, and to be open to absolute wonder and amazement. I don't know why I'm here, but I'm open to being the mad witch in the forest. I'm open to whatever it is it's going to teach me. And I can't wait to share it with you as it unfolds. You know, we're going to go on a journey together. I've literally been set off on a journey here, and I don't know what it's going to lead to, and I'm going to let it lead. I'm listening, I'm open, and that for me is what geomancy is. It's sitting here in my chair and looking out in front of me and seeing that there are a whole bunch of trees right in front of me that's like the top of the tree. So I'm going to have a bird's eye view of the birds here, which is great because I love birds and I need binoculars, and I'm going to sit and look out of the window with my binoculars and look at the birds, and I'm going to observe, and I'm going to sit out on the patio and meditate and tune into this land and this valley and connect and be open to what it does and brings, and because it keeps creating at me and around me, but it's just being open to that being something. For me, that's what geomancy is allowing the universe to be a participant. And like you did as a kid, you know, as a kid, nature was full of wonder, and was, you know, there was that magic tree, and imagine anyone chopped down that tree and how you'd feel. And you know, and that's how I feel about the beacon tree that's fallen down. I'm bereft that tree's fallen down, but she also is still alive, and I'm going to continue working with her and connecting with her and supporting her because she's still going. She is still going. And so how can I help invigorate her, nourish her, give her love, hold space for her as she, you know, does pass, because she's thought, well, I mean, she might last way beyond me. Hopefully that would be amazing if by the time I'm an old lady I still hobble down that track and she's still there. And actually she's on the horizon in my view. The path in front of me, I can see the mound that's the Neolithic dolomite mine is to the right in front of me. My God, I didn't even really clock this because it's the first time I've sat here to do anything on my amazing black swivel chair that I got given. Quite hilariously, I don't think they'll listen to this, so I don't think it'll matter. The millionaires that tried to do emotion and no confidence on us in the government last year, which was the reason why last year's Beltane was an absolute flipping nightmare to put on, was because in the government we were being taken to pieces by these millionaires who'd come to the island and were trying to get their way of libertarians and their way of doing things, and their I don't know, whatever it is that they were trying to do, but they're all dodgy, nasty motherfuckers, were doing emotion no confidence on us this time last year, and we won, and they all quit the government. And one of them, who actually I was the person I was most friendly with, and I was most disappointed in them doing what they did and going with that group of people. I was really sad that he did it. They left the island a few weeks ago and gave us loads of furniture, which was really nice because I was actually really good friends with him and his partner, and I stayed good friends with his partner. I didn't like stop being friends with him, but it did make things quite awkward. But they left and they gave us loads of bits of furniture, and one of the things we got was this extremely snazzy black leather swivelly office chair that doesn't even squeak when I spit, and so I can sit here talking to you, it's whirling around in my swivel chair, and it doesn't make any noise, which is great. And it leans back. I feel like a millionaire in a business conference chair, which is hilarious. And it's the first time I've sat in this and looked out the window, and all of a sudden I realised that to my right in front of me, is the Neolithic mound that is the Dolomite Axe Head mine that's like 6,000 years old. Like, how cool is that? And then to my left, I can't see it, it's a tree within trees, but that clump of tree over there is my beautiful beacon tree, my fallen over beacon tree. That's where she is. So I can see the whole elemental glen. That's just magical. The route down to Port de Milan, and then that's the valley of Port de Milan down in front of me to the left. What a view! And then the sunset. So fabulous. And I will continue to exist here with my torch in the darkness, looking down into the valley. And yeah, I've been thinking a lot about Chris Parks. What an interview that was. I really enjoyed that podcast. I've been listening back to it and really enjoying it. And two things came from that. One is I now have a 4-poster bed because when Chris said, I think you'll get a 4-poster bed at some point. And then I was looking in Facebook Marketplace for beds. It wasn't that we needed a new bed. I needed a bed for one of the rooms because we were obviously you know, that we've gone from a 1-bedroom place to a 4-bedroom place. So I was trying to find beds for the other rooms. And then there was a 4-poster modern black iron square 4-poster bed, which I would never have normally gone for because it's not my style. But we're right next to this duck pond with the weeping willow and the bridge, and so there are mosquitoes galore in this house. Like already there's loads of them, they're not really even out yet. So with this square 4-poster bed, we can completely cover it in nets, and we'll be able to sleep peacefully with the windows open and no problem whatsoever, which is brilliant. So got an amazing, and it's super king, and slept in it last night. Oh my god, it was comfortable. So yeah, really incredible, like second hand, so it was only a couple £100, and it's a 4-poster bed. So off the back of Chris, I probably wouldn't have it was just the fact that he'd said it made me just go, do you know what, I'm gonna get that 4-poster bed. And I sort of like, yeah, it's about bloody time I had a 4-poster bed. So that was wonderful. And then the other thing that was funny was not funny, his Chaos Crusade last week, about the space to make a circle and to give all of yourself to it, even do a sacred blue there. The Tintagel, I'm going to be creating this circle up there and give this valley in this land all of myself, give myself physically, spiritually, just give myself to this place. Minders have already made love up there, but we could do more of that. Just give ourselves to that space, and that I'm really excited about. That feels like a lifetime's work of walking up to Tintagel and creating this circle and this space for us to hold magic and be magic. And oh, what a thing, eh? What a thing. So, my Chaos Crusade for you. My Chaos Crusade this week is to create a spirit line. I think I might have got you to do this before. I definitely have done it before with moon ceremony. So with the moon ceremonies, I said to do this, and if I have got you to do this before, then and you've heard that podcast, then what I would say is the development of that, like with Chris's development, is to do something at the beginning and end that is marking it even more. So right, step one, if you haven't heard in any previous podcasts, for you to do this, and possibly it's the first time I've said it, step one is to pull 2 runes. Now, if you don't have runes, then pull up on whatever search engine you use, pull up the Furthak rune alphabet, and either close your eyes and just point and see which runes you land on. I mean, that's as easy a way of doing it as any. Or maybe without looking at the letters, don't associate it with the letters. Don't pull the letter that's your first name or whatever. Just try and instinctively find which 2 pull you to it. If you have a rune set, then obviously just pull 2. But if you don't, then just pull it up on social media and point your finger with your eyes shut. Is a good way of doing it. Or if any are really jumping out at you, then maybe work with those 2. Pull one, choose one for the beginning of your pilgrimage and one for the end of your pilgrimage. And then look at what they mean, look at what they're about, and then use them to create a spirit line on some walk, on some journey. So if you have got this circle that Chris talked about, a place where you're able to go and watch the sunsets or sunrises and watch the sun movements throughout the year, look at the journey to get there. So for me, there is the journey from my house now to Tintagel, and also to the beach is another place. So to create a spirit line from here to there, and place the rune on a stone, draw it on a stone with a Sharpie at the beginning, or you can draw it on a bit of paper and place it at the beginning. And then you take the second rune you've pulled and you place it at the end, at the circle, wherever this place is that you're walking to. and to contemplate what the runes mean as you do that walk. So think about, feel into what is this pilgrimage teaching you? What's this route teaching you? And forevermore, that spirit line will be there. Now, that's step one. If you've already done that, because you've listened to a previous podcast and I've said to do that, reconnect with what those runes were, reconnect with what it was that you created on that line, and to go do that walk again, but to deepen it by some sort of sacrificial giving of yourself. So maybe it is have a wee or a poo or spit or tears, menstrual blood, something where you give something of yourself at the beginning, something of yourself at the end, and you really develop this journey. It could be an offering. It could be that you take some mead or wine or something and make an offering at the beginning and end, but it's whatever feels right for you. But to deepen that pilgrimage route and to deepen your connection to it, and then to go to this place, into this circle, and to really sit and meditate and to spend some time there and genuinely do it. And it's something that I know me and Diz need to do to really, because at the moment I know he's a bit freaked out by the valley and the entity that jumped on his back the other day. And I feel differently because I had that Ostara weekend here with the girls. I felt the valley being in love with us. I felt how powerful it was, but I also can feel that we're in the knotty bit, like we're on the cusp, because literally that Neolithic mound that I can see to my right, all along that bit is fine. Like that's nature, that's the end of the hair that isn't matted. This bit where we are is the matted bit. So everything to our left, the seigneury and the monastery, is the matted bit. There's dark energy, dark shit's gone on here, and we need to comb it through. We need to clear it. And I think possibly it would help with, possibly, I don't know, but I think it might help with these millionaires that keep coming and just the island not really knowing what it's about and what it's doing, for us to clear it and feel free up some positivity and make something else happen. That's what I believe. So let's bloody go for it, shall we? And so wow, this feels like the biggest work I've ever done, even though I've done really big work before, but this feels big. This feels like everything's been leading to this, I guess. So whatever is about to happen, I'm excited by it, and we shall see. All right, so thank you for being here. Love you all. Thank you for listening, and it's great to share this journey with you, and we'll see what unfolds. So I shall see you then on.